What's up, everybody? Welcome to Lit at Lunch. I am so honored and pleasured to be here with Mike Grubbs. Finally, as you guys know, we've been doing these Lit at Lunches every day for the past, I don't know how many days, and Mike is never on. So really, it's just Lit at Lunch with me because Mike, for whatever reason, don't have time to get on. But he's here today.
I am so honored.
This is the reason why I do it by myself.
And for those of you that's been following us at Lit on Lunch, you always know that Weston is always doing what Weston is doing when he is doing it, and nobody know what Weston is doing. But I'm so glad that he's here today. Welcome, Weston, to our show.
God bless y'all. Today we have two very, very special guests. They're special to us not just because they're special in their own right, but these are two brothers, and it's exciting to see brothers dwelling together in love. Is that scripture?
That's scripture.
I think that's
It
scripture.
comes out of my favorite book, brother.
What book is that? The Bible. So here we have two guests. I want to start with my immediate left, none other than my brother. I'm going to give him some dap because he is my brother.
Absolutely.
Mr. Nate Scott. Introduce yourself, sir.
Absolutely. My name is Nate Scott. I'm the author of Life is Rich, How to Create Lasting Wealth, which is a principle-centered, biblically based leadership program focused on personal growth and entrepreneurship, specifically addressing the cash flow danger no one is talking about. And that is an executive business coach. I help people prepare for unemployment, market volatility, retirement, and other life disruptions so that they can actually overcome and avoid hardship.
Yeah.
Because life happens to all of us.
You're also an accomplished author.
Life is Rich, How to Create Lasting Wealth, man. It's a godsend.
Where can I see the book, sir? You're just going to talk about it?
Yeah,
Can the people see it?
This here book, Life is Rich, How to Create Lasting Wealth, live in fullness every day, realize I'm Christ's heir. It was God ordained. It was birthed out of the experience of me in combat at 19 when I said, Lord, if you allow me to make it back, I'll never waste a day of my life. And through that experience, the compass was set. And from there, as things would have, God gave me opportunities to develop and consequently led me to writing that book to provide insights to allow people to navigate life disruptions. Because as I said, life happens to all of us.
It sure does.
It's not a read through book. It's not rah-rah. It's a practical book because knowledge is information.
Yeah.
Understanding is comprehension, but wisdom is applied knowledge. And so my aim with writing that is to provide a real tool so that people can actually have something.
Hold on. I'm going to let you speed past that. Say that one more time, sir. Did y'all hold on now. This is nuggets. These are nuggets. Hit that one more time.
Knowledge is information.
Yeah.
Understanding is comprehension, but wisdom is applied knowledge.
Wow. And one thing before I move on, the book is called Life is Rich. In a society, in a day when everybody want to be rich. Break that down. Life is rich.
Yeah. And again, it's anchored in biblical principles. It's a principle-centered, biblically based leadership program focused on personal growth and entrepreneurship. It's foundationally built on Matthew 6:33, which says, seek ye first the kingdom of God and all of his righteousness. Those are instructions. But after those instructions, there's a promise that all these things thereafter shall be added unto you. Yeah. And that's, to me, means spiritually, mentally, emotionally, relationally, physically, and financially. And so that's what I lay out as far as building the ideal structure. You got your foundation of spiritual, then you got your mental, then you got your emotional, then you got your relational, then you got your physical and financial. I call it physical and financial are the things that come as a result of you having a solid core.
That's good.
And what's great about this is that every chapter begins with scripture, but then I say, so what? How do you take God's word and apply it on a daily basis? Practical. That's right.
Yeah. Get it from the spiritual realm into the physical.
That's right. That's right. And so I cover leadership is the answer, the cash flow danger, it happened to me, become an entrepreneur, choosing the right entity, raising capital, asset protection, protecting your financial privacy, reducing your taxes, retirement planning, residual income retirement planning, estate planning, and life is rich. It's not like any other book. One of the reviews on the Amazon is that it's Rich Dad Poor Dad on steroids.
Wow.
And so for those that are readers and those that like to name drop, that's what I'm saying is when God gives something, he does it in a big way. And so I appreciate having an opportunity just to share what I just now shared.
Sure.
Because it's meant to be out to the masses and the season is right now for that.
Nate Scott. Y'all see what we got on today's show? Now, don't miss it. That was a lot. The gentleman to his left, I'm going to let Mike introduce him. But this is another brother that he's going to blow your mind too. Like Mike, we just humbled to be. I'm just happy to be in the room with these brothers, man.
Listen, I'm so honored. I think this is one of the finest moments of my life to be able to sit down on a stage with these three gentlemen here.
Oh, you going to put me in there too?
They just
It's them two.
They don't know a lot. They know a lot. But to my right, we have one of the sharpest minds of our time when it comes to finances, when it comes to building businesses, building communities. It's none other than my brother. We're going to shake hands too.
There you go.
Gregory Grant.
Thank you. And it's a pleasure to be here today. I really appreciate the invite and being here amongst sharp individuals like all three of you. So I really appreciate that. So my name is Gregory Grant. I'm the Equal Business Opportunity Director for the city of Jacksonville. And I was really, I believe the timing of this particular position was ordained. And the reason I say ordained, because we all know that timing is a big deal, especially when we come to Jacksonville. And so the Equal Business Opportunity Division is designed for us to advocate for legislation that benefit the small business community. And being a native of Jacksonville, one of the things that I realized in our small business community is that our small business communities are special. I mean, without the small business community, Jacksonville economy doesn't move. You know, we need small businesses to make sure our citizens have a great experience when they're engaging with companies.
That's right.
We want to make sure that small businesses are equipped when they're engaged with large corporations. So our division is very special from a city government perspective. Within our division, we have a program called the JSEB certification program.
Yeah, I love that. Go ahead.
Yeah,
go ahead.
the JSEB certification program is not just a regular certification like the 8A or MBE that you hear about. The JSEB certification program is actually a community. And inside of that community, the city takes care of its small business.
Come on, man.
And in taking care of small business, we focus on four things. The first is education initiatives. The second is community engagement. The third is really important, which is access to capital programs. And I think the fourth is even more important, which is contract opportunities. In those contract opportunities, we advocate for corporate contracts, direct contracts, city contracts, state contracts, federal contracts, and international contracts. So that way our small businesses can focus on a diversified portfolio. And many times I would hear, as being a native in Jacksonville, what is the government doing for small businesses?
Yeah.
Where are the grants? Where are the opportunities? The JSEP community is the place to come to get that opportunity. If you're not a part of JSEP and you have a small business in Jacksonville, you are missing out.
Stop right there. I'm not going to let you speed past that. Say that one. Listen, y'all. Yeah. Say that one more time.
If you are not a part of the JSEP community, you are missing out on education opportunities, community engagement opportunities, access to capital opportunities. And I'm not just talking about loans, also small business grants and contracting opportunities.
I believe the backbone, and I set this down there, the backbone to any city is the small business.
Yes.
And if the backbone to every city is the small business, the backbone of the country is small business. It's not big industry.
Absolutely.
It's small business.
Yep.
And JSEB is just one program in the city, but the mere fact that the city is locking arms, attempting to lock arms.
Correct.
To be, I'm going to use a really good, to be a designation city for where small businesses go to thrive.
You got it. And the JSEP program, and I have to say this because, again, about timing, the administration that we have, and I have to give a shout out to Mayor Donna Deegan. Mayor Donna Deegan ran on her campaign and stated that she wants Jacksonville to be the small business capital of the Southeast.
Wow.
When I stepped in, I said, that's a great attainable goal. However, I want us to be the model for the nation.
Come on.
And so as the administrator, your tax dollars hard at work. I'm creating those pathways with the federal government, with the state government, as well as here in the city. So this is a great time to be a small business in Jacksonville right now.
And that's what we're going to be talking about today. What are the things that small businesses need in order to thrive, in order to be successful? I believe every person in one way or another can be an entrepreneur in some way, shape, form, or fashion, right? They'll be working out of your home, but we know how to make a dollar, but we don't know business. In other words, we know how to hustle, but we don't know business. And it's just those little small nuances, education, that could help us go from being able to survive by paying bills to really build wealth.
Let me jump in on that, because the timing of this conversation is quite significant, because my goal is to create a $10 million endowment fund to foster personal growth and entrepreneurship. In saying that, the reason that is because I know that a person that's a W-2 employee that does not have a business is paying at least 40% more in taxes.
Say that one more time, sir.
A person that's a W-2 employee that does not have a business is paying at least 40% more in taxes.
So there's a tax benefit.
It's a relational benefit. I'm going to leave it from the taxes. And here's why I say it like that is because there are two different tax systems. There's the taxes for the employee and the taxes for the business owner. They serve purposes. The taxes for the employee is meant to drive taxation. That's why you have income, then you have your taxes, and then what's left over is what you're trying to live off of. The taxes for the entrepreneur is meant to drive economy. That's a relation with the government. That's a relationship with the city.
That's right.
And so the reason that and how that is shown is that's when you have your income, then you pay out those expenses, and it's assumed that that business owner is going to stimulate the economy.
That's right.
So you're talking about stimulus. Okay, you want to stimulate the economy, then be a part of that thing.
Hold on, wait. Listen, y'all gonna pull on it. That's a stimulus check.
Yes.
Say that again.
If you want to stimulate the economy, then be a part of the stimulus. The stimulation means simply be someone that's going to be a person of value. Seek a problem to solve. Entrepreneurship is this problem solving.
That's all.
Entrepreneurship is biblical. Why do I say that? Because in Genesis, we're known that we're creators. Our Father's a creator. Entrepreneurship is about looking for those opportunities to create solutions for those problems that are known. And it's that type of insight that I say, if we get down to it, if we start to understand who we be versus what we do, then what happens is that whole idea of saying, I'm not an entrepreneur, I can't do this. No, you can, but you've got to be taught the right way. And that's really the mission that I'm on. And that's why I'm excited about being able to connect with my brother here that's on the policy side of things to say, hey, here's how we can actually work together, because I can understand it from what they're doing, but that's macro. We got to deal with this personal economy. And that means raising people up and saying, okay, if I tell you, you'll forget. If I teach you, you'll remember. But if I involve you, you'll learn.
So education is the key to this.
The right education.
The right education.
Absolutely.
Good. Mr. Grant. Question for you. Hearing all that he just mentioned, I know you over there just.
Oh yeah. So Nate has shared some of this with me before, and what I can say, he is spot on when it comes to having what I would call a transformative mindset, right? And so part of our education system, and I want to talk about that a little bit when I mention education, it's focused. It's a 3-tier approach. And so in tier 1, we're working with pretty much the novice entrepreneur or entrepreneur that's been in business for less than 5 years. And a lot of times these entrepreneurs need to start at the step that Nate is talking about, because it's easy to execute without being educated. So we just jump right in. And we jump right in without understanding. And we know just kind of what, like you say with the Bible, the lack of knowledge causes us to what?
Perish.
So the statistic right now is 9 out of 10 businesses fail. I say 9 out of 10 businesses perish because they don't have the knowledge.
Wow. Hold on. Hold
gonna
on.
hear that again?
Yeah. You're going to hear it again right now because we're not going to speed past it. We're not going to speed past it. Say that one more time.
Yeah.
Instead of 9 out of 10 businesses
Failing, 9 out of 10 businesses perish. So how do we improve that statistic where maybe 8 out of 10 or 7 out of 10, 6 out of 10, giving them the knowledge through education like Nate is talking about.
Yeah.
That's how we prevent these businesses from perishing, because they are creating, like we said, they are creating, but then their creation perish. That's also a trick of who?
See?
We don't want it to come to fruition, so you're not going to have the resources. We're not going to give you what you need. And boom, it perished. So I believe working with folks like Nate and others in the community, by us working collaboratively, we are going to prevent some of these businesses from perishing.
So let's bring that down, fellas. Let's bring that all the way down to real world application here in the city of Jacksonville. I'm just getting started, brand new. Don't know much about business, but I got a God idea. I believe I'm moving in what I believe God is telling me. I know how to go get an LLC. I know how to go open up a bank account. But where do I go from there? Where do I get the education? What are the resources for me being able to tap into learning how to be successful in business?
I will tell you it from the grassroots from my end, and then I will tell you, and I'll pass it over to Gregory with those other resources. For me, I started thinking about financial independence as a 10th grade in high school. And I boiled it down to real estate and business as far as how to get there.
Okay. That was the option. That was the path that you chose.
That was the path. Well, not only the path that I chose, but the path that I saw to get there, period. Meaning that if financial freedom was what I really wanted, then it's not that varied. It's talking about that path that's narrow.
Sure. It's straight and
There you go. Yeah, real estate and business. And so with that recognition, again, that's a beginning with the end in mind. Okay. That's the concept to take away from that. Okay. From there, it was then saying, okay, now how do I start to learn? Of course, the natural thing was to go to the books.
Sure.
But I got introduced to personal growth and development after an entrepreneurship, after serving in combat, and after graduating from West Point with degrees in engineering and sociology. I was 25 years old when I realized the power of the library. I was 25 years old when I learned that I could actually participate in seminars and go to events and talk to mentors, that I could literally go straight to sources to get the right information versus spending my time trying to figure things out and then lacking comprehension.
Could I say it how everything that you just said, and this is for you guys, everything that I heard you just say, can I tell you how it hit me? Success leaves clues.
Yes.
Yes.
You don't have to go and reinvent the wheel. There's breadcrumbs. There's a trail being left for you to follow. And let me quantify, and he probably will get mad for me doing this, but I don't care. Let me quantify. That's my disclaimer before I get put it out there. Let me quantify Nate's success at an early age. If I remember correctly, you acquired your first million at 27.
32.
32. Well, I wasn't that far off. In real estate.
Yeah.
40 plus unit complex that you owned.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were just getting it. No, I think I knew you. No, you wasn't that far off though. That was a little far.
I moved to Jacksonville.
How long was that?
In 2004 is when I moved to Jacksonville.
We connected in 2005, 2004, 2005.
Yeah, not soon after I got here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, talking about that beginning with the end in mind and how that whole story came about was that as I was leaving the military, and thank you, brothers, for your service, I had a window, that terminal leave period, that 90-day period in order I was transitioning from the Army.
ETS.
Yeah. And I knew that I had that goal, and I knew that if I transitioned and would be in between jobs, then I wouldn't have a history of income, which is required for financing during that time. And so that's what caused me to really lock in. And so I read a couple of books. I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I read Cash Flow Quadrant. And I just took a couple of concepts from the book. See, it wasn't a whole lot. I just took a couple of pages. One was a diagram that showed me that there were income coming from 4 different boxes, 4 quadrants. You got the E for the employee, the S for the self-employed, the B for the business owner, the I for the investor. That was that was life-changing for me conceptually. The next thing that was life-changing was the flow of money difference between the poor, the middle class, and the wealthy. The poor go income expenses out the window.
Stop. Don't go past that too fast. The poor, money comes in. You said income, expenses
Yes,
out the window.
out the window.
So everything that's coming in, we're paying bills.
That's right.
Simply transferring your check. It shouldn't even be a payday. It should be a transfer day. You waiting to get paid and to transfer it over to. Yeah. So that was that. The middle class, which people strive for. You go to your school, you get your degrees, you want to look in that neighborhood, you got the big home, you got the Mercedes Benz, income to liability, to an expense out the window. Income,
Break that down.
liabilities, those debts, that student loan, that mortgage, that car loan, the credit card, all those things where I got to get good credit. That's a system. Getting credit is a system. Income to liability, every liability has a monthly expense, and then it's out the window. So that's where you end up being one paycheck away from broke, because you're just simply delaying something. And if that life happened, which is why I said I'm doing what I'm doing, because life does happen.
It's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's going to happen.
Yeah.
But the thing that changed my life was seeing that there was a distinction between the poor, the middle class, and the wealthy. And it's so simple. I call it a pause button. The wealthy go income to asset, to income to asset, to income to asset. And so the purpose of work for me then became, I work to create assets so that I can create income and then do income activities to create assets. So it's an IPA, income producing activity to create income producing assets. And that in turn is what can cause one to become free.
And so just for the novice who's listening and may not quite understand, asset being a thing that generates money.
Generates money.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Yeah, something that in turn, and here's the first asset. Under Life is Rich, I have some key phrases. Number one is alignment before assignment. Number two is how to think versus what to think. That's important because that's what I did with my soldiers, taking them into good battle. I knew if I got killed on the battlefield, the mission would still have to take place.
That's right.
And then the last is that we're just not, you are the asset. You are the asset. See, God has given each one of us and bestowed it upon us. So assuming you're a believer, if you are a believer and you believe in Matthew 6:33, and you know you're an heir, live in fullness every day, realize I'm Christ's heir. If you know that you're an heir, then you know your father already has it all. And if your father already has it all, he already has it set aside. So what's the responsibility of the child? The responsibility for each one of us to grow our capacity, because no good father is going to release the keys to the car if we can't drive.
If you don't know how to drive.
That's right.
Boy, you listen, Nate, I ain't talked to you in a long time. Come here dropping all these nuggets. So from the personal side of resource and educate, he said that there's resources out there. He even mentioned the library. He mentioned books. He also mentioned going to seminars or getting around the people who know. But self-education, I think we don't take it. I'm coming to you next, Greg. I don't think we take enough. Okay. I don't think we take enough accountability. We want somebody to give it to us. We don't want to go get it. Initiative. And not only that, we want to get it for free.
That's right.
And I was going to tell you about the businesses fail. That's one of the reasons why, because they're dealing with free people.
Come on, sir.
And they also dealing with cheap people.
Come on, sir.
You know why they doing that though? And now you pulling on me. It's because we think everybody's supposed to be our customer.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So the first one is the wrong people.
Wrong people.
See, wrong people, and then no real problem as identified by no real pain point or no real pleasure.
That causes change.
That's right. And then you got the wrong people, and then you're the wrong person.
That's a whole nother thing.
The wrong person means you ain't got no credibility. Mean that you don't keep your word. You didn't do what you say you're going to do. And so that whole trend that people recognize you for what, well, you say this, but I know you. And that's the reason why I'm not. And then the last one is pricing. Can you believe that sometimes we underprice and people won't buy because you priced it so low that they couldn't believe it?
We could give a whole testimony on that.
We experienced that. I'm a firm believer that you don't know a thing until you learned it. It's working for you, and then you're able to teach it to someone else. And the problem that we have in our community is we'll learn something and go straight to teaching when we have not proven it to work in
That's
our
good,
own
Mike.
lives.
That's
I'll
good.
say that again.
Yeah.
You don't know a thing until you learned it and it's worked for you. You cannot skip from step 1 to step 3. It has to work for you. Then you have the ability to teach it to someone else. One of the things that I like about Nate, and I've been knowing Nate now about 14 years. I think I met you back in 2012 via EC. And EC told me, he's like, man, this guy is a genius when it comes to finance. I have never, hear me well, I have never met Nate in his office. Every time I've ever actually met Nate, it has been somewhere in the community because he's not the type of person that's going to get all this information, all this knowledge, and all this wisdom and just use it for himself.
Yep.
He's always trying to find workshops or events or seminars, or he will come to your house
He sure will.
and help empower you because what he's doing and what he's talking about has worked for him over and over, time again. And that's something that you really don't see, because a lot of times when we get the information, it becomes about me, my four, and no more. It becomes my in-house community and not my living community. But that's one of the things that I respect so much about Nate, is because he will come out of his office. I don't even know if he got office. He might have a, I'm just saying.
You know,
Yeah, we was in the same office.
You're going to find him out there trying to help somebody take their life from one level to the next. That's one of the things
I say it this way, Mike, he got receipts.
Come
You know,
on.
at the end of the day,
Wow.
Come
he
on.
got receipts. And receipts is what matter.
That's right.
Now you talk about it from we talk about education.
Yeah.
What resources? Okay, I got the self-help stuff that Nate just gave me. That I need to take some initiative. What does the city offer from an educational standpoint? We know JSAT,
Right.
but where else can I go? Because you've done everything from FCCJ
Yeah.
to the whole 9 yards.
So I'm gonna start off with this. Number one, there is no shortage of resources, especially in the Jacksonville community.
Wow.
I'm just gonna ramble off some, and then I'm gonna kind of delve into it a little bit, right?
Okay.
So you have the SBDC, which is the Small Business Development Center. They are a organization that provides consulting services at no cost. Free. And I always say they stay with you for the life of your business until you fire them. When I was the assistant director for the Small Business Development Center, I've had some clients that we've been working with for 30 years and some that just started. So there is no ending point. So number one, your tax dollars hard at work, take advantage of a resource like this. Free advice and coaching. Also, SCORE. I used to be a SCORE mentor, certified through them as well. And again, this is another resource with industry experts that will help you in whatever industry that you're in at no cost.
Before you go forward, what I want, Charlena, would you do me a favor? Mention SBDC. So let's put these in the chat, okay?
Yep.
Let's put these places that he's mentioning in the chat. SBDC,
Yep.
the Small Business Development Center. That's a resource. SCORE,
SCORE. That is a resource.
SCORE.
Yep. And the only resources I'm going to mention right now is just the city of Jacksonville for now, but there are many others, but I'm only going to
Sure.
talk about what's available in our own yard, right?
Backyard, yeah.
So the Jacksonville Women Business Center. Now, a lot of people think that's for women only. It is not. It is
not?
It is not. It is actually open to women and men at no cost, and men can also use the resources there.
I wouldn't have never known.
Exactly. So the Jacksonville Women Business Council is a great resource as well.
Jacksonville Women's Business
yeah.
Council.
VBOC, and this is for our veterans, our military veterans. So it stands for, I know the VB stands for Veterans Business. Can't remember the OC, but VBOC, if you want to Google that. Great resource for veterans. Again, no cost, no charge.
VBOC.
VBOC. Yeah. Also, we have the Chamber. So the Chamber of Commerce has an array of resources, many different councils. What I like about the Chamber is whatever industry you're in. So if you're in the healthcare industry, if you are in the farming industry, there is a council that's specific for that industry. Great resource. Also, Jack's Bridges is a great resource. Again, there is no cost for this. And the reason I keep saying no cost, because really there is a cost. And I want to really kind of talk about that. The people that administer these programs, we're having to go to Tallahassee to get the money for these programs. we are having to go to different places and beg to make sure that our community have access to this program.
Right.
So a lot of times it may just seem on the surface, oh, this is just this free thing that they're offering. No, this is your tax dollars that we are going out to get to make sure that these resources are available. And there's many more, and I don't want to take up the time going down the entire list. But one thing I do want to say that's really important within the JSEP community, on the education side, we are actually working with several colleges, and this is very innovative and very different. And I want to kind of just touch on that a little bit. I'm in the middle of a negotiation with a specific college right now. And one of the things that we're doing is we're listening to the community. So, and we'll talk about the equal business opportunity forums, but if we notice that the community is lacking or missing a certain education element, we are now creating it.
That's good.
Through this education institution. Nate don't know it yet, but he's going to be recruited inside of that education system. And here's why. I'm a college professor, you know, and so I'm a professor of entrepreneurship and small business. And so what I realize is, yes, I can teach you theory all day. I call that the science of entrepreneurship, right? So I can teach you the business model canvas. I can teach you cash flow and all those different things. But the part that we miss out on is the art of entrepreneurship and the practice of entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
Those are three different things: art, science, and practice.
Yeah.
The art of entrepreneurship is what Nate was talking about. What is your vision? What is your mission? Why are you doing it?
Why?
Because sometimes our freedom is not necessarily about the money. In fact, I believe that we should be in business for other reasons, and the money is a byproduct.
That's good.
Right?
That's right.
So we want to teach those type of things. The practical side of entrepreneurship is your philosophy. What do you believe in, and how do you take that belief and use it to operate the art and the science of the business?
Good.
And the only people that can really teach that is not professors, it's people who've lived it like Nate.
Yeah.
And so we are designing classes from our practitioners as well, and putting them side by side by the traditional. That way our JSEP participants have a holistic education, which is very different and very innovative. That's why Jacksonville is going to be the small business capital of the nation.
That's good, man. If y'all didn't get what he just said, that I get excited about stuff like that, just because it goes from, and what you were talking about is purpose, but it goes from being an idea to really more tangible when you deal with it from a holistic approach.
Correct.
I now have help in every area, and so my chances of being successful are much more, are much greater.
That's right.
It's an incubator, right?
Correct.
It's giving me all the things that I need until I'm able to go out on my own and be successful on my own. That's powerful.
Correct. One of the programs I want to touch on as well inside JSEB is our mentorship program. We intentionally pair a tier 3 JSEB, and I want to define what that means.
Sure.
A tier 3 JSEB is a JSEB that have annual revenues anywhere from $1 million to about $15 million in annual revenue. So when we are providing those contract opportunities, one of the nuggets in there is that they have to mentor a tier 1.
That's good.
That's good.
So that now allows real-time education, not just theory.
Right.
Now you're learning from someone hands-on, because it's my goal to get them from tier 1 to tier 2,
3.
get them from tier 2 to tier 3. So then they become the mentor, right?
All right.
Different type of education system.
That's good.
And what you got to pick up on what he just now said also about those pairings is that he mentioned revenue.
Yep.
And revenue is not cash flow.
Correct.
And so once again, there's learning curves even for those that are in that position.
That's right.
But if you're in a similar business where you're getting mentored to get to that contract level where you got the revenue, well, then there's still opportunities for you to learn and grow so that in turn you can create profitability.
Yeah.
Because that's what entrepreneurship is really about, the profitability side. And I bring that up is because, you know, in 2013, when I wrote that, I said that most people don't have enough to fund their plan.
Yep.
I said, if you're reading this now in 2013, you got 10 years to do something. The bad news is that most people will not do anything. And I'll tell you, that's what causes me now to be out and re-engaging, is because I realized that in rereading the book that was written, and it was that time passed like this. And from that, I said, you know what? We can look at 2023 and we can see what transpired in the economy. We see it moving into 2024 and we see the layoff numbers. The reality is that the reports are showing that American families need $11,434 in additional income because of inflation to meet bare essentials. Well, how are you actually going to do that? Well, most people that are working are relying on a raise that they don't get.
That's right.
If you got if you're making $100,000 salary, you get a 3% pay raise. You're talking about a bump of only $3,000. 200,000 is 6,000. 300,000, 9,000. You got to have a base salary of $400,000 plus a 3% pay raise to get to 12,000. And see, it's that insight right there that causes me to say, you know what, we've got to blow the horn about entrepreneurship, because it ain't about what you make, it's about what you keep.
Come on, sir.
So I just want to make sure that everyone actually understands that the playing field is already set, but you may not be playing according to the rules. Right. And it's not as if it's hidden.
Right. That's right.
But you've got to open up and be receptive so that in turn you can capitalize on what's available to each and every one of us, beginning with ourselves and then recognizing those things, because it's about who you be versus what you do. And that's the last point I want to really say. We're human beings versus human doings. So people got to be, do, have. Instead, most people are trying to do in order to have and to become. But I'm saying you got to first be. Choose your identity.
That's a shift in mindset. And not just in entrepreneurship, but in life period. Because we identify not just people, but we as individuals identify ourselves with what we do versus who we are. And there's a biblical story that speaks to that to me anyway. And I'm westernizing the text right now. But Jesus said, "Who do men say I am?" Their responses were, some say a prophet. Prophet is what you do, not who you are. Many times we get lost in what we're doing versus who we are. So I appreciate that. And I got some stuff I'm gonna be teaching on that, believe it or not. Because for a season of my life, I lost my identity because I was lost in what I was doing. You've always known me as Pastor Weston. Well, when I stopped pastoring, I lost, like, who am I? God had to show me that was what you were doing. That's not who you are. So
that's well said. Very well said.
One of the things that I learned is that God will always raise up somebody somewhere to use their power, their ability, and their influence to help you. I'll say that again. He'll always raise up somebody somewhere to use their power, their ability, and their influence to help you. And one of the things that I love about having conversations like this is it allows true servants to be exposed. We identify them, refer to them as public servants. And a lot of times we hear that word and really don't know the meaning of it. That word servant comes from a Greek word, which is doulos. A female doulos is called a doula, but a male is called a doulos with the S at the end. And it is a doula. It is a midwife. It is a servant's job to mine out, to dig out, to help manifest everything that's been poured and sown inside of the person. And so God will always give us servants or midwives or doulas because we have information, but the information that we have is limited information. So then he raises up people like Nate and like a Greg to bring forth revelation. And revelation is only unmasking knowledge. The knowledge is there. You just don't know that you have it or where to get it from. Revelation, we hear that word all the time. It's rooted in the word reveal, which means to take the cover off. It comes from a word which means to illuminate, which comes from light. So what are you saying? If I walk into this room and I don't see this table with these white pictures on there, it doesn't mean that it's not in there. But if I flip the light switch, the room becomes illuminated and I'm able to see what's always been there.
It's revealed.
It's revealed.
Revelation.
It's unmasked. It's uncovered. Even in the garden, when God created Adam and gave him the entire garden and told him to name the animals, it was God that came back in an entrepreneur mindset and said, it is not good for man to be alone. He found a need, right? And to fix the problem, he went inside the man and
Wow.
pulled out everything that the man needed in order to fulfill the assignment.
The answer to the problem
The
was
answer to the
inside of him.
problem was inside of
But
him.
he didn't know.
He didn't know.
So
Wow.
he needed revelation.
Come on, sir.
That's good.
Needed to be unmasked, undressed, uncovered. So I'm saying this to you guys. Everything that you need is on the inside of you. And there's help out there. And
Doulas.
the problem is there's doulas all over that God is sending across your path. And the problem is you won't make yourself available. The resources is out there. And there's a major difference between resource and a source. And the biggest issue that we have is we think our job is a source. Your job is not your source. It's a resource. It's one channel that God uses to bless you so you can provide for your family, pay your bills, help those that are in need. But it is a resource. It is not your source. God will send you doulas. He will send you servants, public servants, private servants to help mine out, to help pull out everything that's on the inside of you. And not only will you prosper, but everybody around you will do the same.
Well, I got to say something real
I
quick.
was about to shut it down. You better go say something.
Yeah, real,
He just dropped the mic.
Yeah, real quick. I just learned something. So I'm a doula? Doula. So this shows how we are really aligned. So every month we have the Equal Business Opportunity Forums that's designed for the small business community to come together. As a city, we get to hear the voices of the small business. At every Equal Business Opportunity Forum, I always end it with this statement. I don't work for the city. I work for you. I end every Equal Business Opportunity Forum with that statement. So for him to say that, so he's operating like a prophet today.
So he's something like one. yeah, he definitely something like that. But profound and prolific.
Yeah.
I'm not going to add anything to it because there's nothing to be added to with that. But that was very profound and prolific. And I will say this, as you were talking about income not being a source but a resource, I thought about what you mentioned in saying that you took the job to buy assets.
Yep.
So God used the job, the income. Many times we think we got to just quit our job and go become an entrepreneur. No. That's not what we're talking about. He said income to asset. Sometimes it's taking what you already have. I believe in multiple streams. A job is a stream.
Yep.
That's right.
That's a valuable stream. But we should be doing our own. We should be becoming entrepreneurs in addition to not just relying on, that paycheck or the transfer check. I'm still that transfer check.
And actually, people that are unemployed, I've been doing talks with people that are in this laid off state, trying to get them to, and actually been giving away coaching for the purposes of saying, let me first talk to you about maybe your impression of sales. I said, because what you don't understand is that you unemployed right now are a sales professional. You don't even understand that the activity that you're doing is a sales process.
That's exactly right.
And so my whole aim is first to reshape it and say that sales is simply helping people to understand the logic and the benefit of making a decision or taking an action. So you got to be able to see yourself. Are you a helper? Are you willing to help people to understand, not making do something? Can you help people understand the logic and the benefit of making a decision or taking an action?
Yep.
If you sign off on that, the next thing is you just recognize as a process. Number one, you got to make your list. If you're looking for a job, you're looking for all the openings. If you're in business, you're looking at who you're going to call upon.
Right.
I don't care if that's B2B or B2C.
That's right.
Number two, you're going to be reaching out. In the job search, you're applying for a job. You're reaching out.
Reaching out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Number three, you're hoping that you get an interview. Well, in the business side, you're setting appointments.
Yep.
You don't have control over if they're going to give you an interview.
You don't have control over whether they're going to give you an appointment.
That's right. That's right.
But you try.
But you got a greater opportunity to get someone to give you an appointment.
Then
You are getting an interview.
Sure.
Yeah.
The fourth is then you're making your presentation. In the job search, you're now in the interview and you're presenting yourself.
Resume and yourself.
That's right. And then from there, you got to do the follow-up. And this is where the key point is, because on the follow-up on the job search, you might send a thank you note. But this is where people get knocked off on entrepreneurship. They don't know going into it that the follow-up is where the money's at.
Yep.
2% of yeses happen on the first touch, 3% on the second, 5% on the third, but 10% of your yeses happen on the fifth through the 12th touch.
Say it again.
Yep.
2% of your yeses happen on the first touch, 3% on the second, 5% on the third, 10% on the fourth, but 80% of your yeses happen on the 5th through the 12th touch.
Yep.
After the no.
That's right.
Correct.
So I'm going to get some no's,
Yep.
but I got to keep going.
But even if you don't get a no, the timing isn't right.
Yep.
The follow-up means I'm touching base with you. Hey, man, how you doing? Hey, man, what's
Yep.
going on with you? I'm touching base with you. Is anything you're doing right now? And all those drips are touches, which in turn allow you to stay top of mind, which allows you then to be in a position where you're able to be the one that can actually service whomever you've been calling.
So this is for the person who, but I'm not good at sales.
Right. And the thing is-
We're all involved
Yep.
in sales.
yeah.
As a pastor and as a preacher, guess what I was trying to do? Sell people on living for Jesus.
And so here's what
Believing
I
in a
ask.
God they ain't never seen.
When people say they're not, I say, well, what part? Are you not good at making your list? Are you not good at reaching out? Are you not good at setting appointments?
That's right.
Yep.
Are you not good at presenting? Are you not good at following up? Or you're not good at, I call it opening, not closing. Are you not opening the relation? Are you not good at opening the relationship? Because I can now work with you on those, or you can outsource that.
That's good.
If you're not good at appointment setting, okay, outsource that to someone else that is good at appointment setting. If you're not good at presenting, okay, outsource that.
That's good.
See, it's just about knowing the right thing, and it's little tweaks, and that's what I get excited about. I get excited about the revelation part. I get excited about being able to say, oh, you know how to do that.
So you enjoy his sermon.
Oh man, that blessed me. That did it for me.
What I hear you saying is though you teach people how to think,
Yes.
not what to think.
That's it.
Plain and simple.
Plain and simple.
We're getting ready to wrap. We went a little bit over today. Normally it's a 30-minute deal, but this was so good. We're gonna do it again, guys. We definitely gotta do it
Absolutely,
again if you guys, have the time. Let's end by letting people know how can they purchase the book, how can they get in contact with you? What are the ways that they can stay connected or get connected with you? And then same thing with you, Mr. Grant.
Yeah, Life is Rich, How to Create Lasting Wealth. I promise you, getting this will absolutely be a game changer because it's not a read-through book. This is meant to be a guide, to be a generational book. It's meant to be read along with your word, because in that there are chapters that you can simply go to the table of contents and go to what you need in the season of life you're in. If you need to raise capital, go to the raising capital. If you need to really understand becoming an entrepreneur, you can go to that chapter. If you want to look at estate planning, you can go there. You can get that as a special event as a result of this event here. Go to lifeisrichglobal.com/event special.
Let's put that in the chat.
Lifeisrichglobal.com/event special. And the reason I want you to go there instead of going to Amazon, because yes, it's on Amazon, but Amazon didn't tell you about this. For you entrepreneurs out there that have your products, be sure to be proactive about the tools in which you have. And I want to leave you with this great story.
Before you get into it, can you give that address one more time?
Lifeisrichglobal.com/event special. And talking about the power of entrepreneurship and the ladder. July 8th, 2015, I was leaving LA Fitness. I passed a pink Cadillac. I didn't see the person driving the vehicle, but I saw it as a status
I
symbol.
know about this story. I know about this
I
story.
pulled on the side of the road and she drove by. I flagged her down. I gave her a copy of my book.
Hold on. Gonna let you speed past that. Hold on. So was it the pink Cadillac that caught your attention? Or was what was driving the pink
I didn't
Cadillac?
see the person driving the vehicle.
You sure?
I was minding my business.
You sure?
Know your customers. Know your ideal client.
Okay.
And the status symbol is what drew me.
Yeah.
And so I pulled on the side of the road. I flagged her down. I gave her a copy of my book. I said, here, read this. If you get any value from it, you pay for it later. She went left. I went right. She contacted me on July 26th, telling me she'd read it. She shared it with 30 of her directors. They all wanted it. From there, she has to do a conference call with 200 of her ladies. I said, bring the husbands on. After that, she did a live event. And then from there, she paid $4,500 to work me for 90 days as her coach. We developed a friendship. In less than a year, meeting at the stop sign, we married. That's the power of entrepreneurship.
Wow.
Woo! Shalabosa.
Wow.
So if you see a pink Cadillac,
Have you put ready?
you put the fellas on game. So we need to be, hey man, stop the car. Hold on, I picked up on something too. Listen, if you get any value out of this, you can pay for it later. Yes, sir. Nate Scott, man, listen, we appreciate you coming in and joining with us, man, and sharing just a small amount. I mean, we could do this for hours.
Yeah,
literally
this is
could.
good.
Mr. Gregory Grant.
Yeah, absolutely. I just learned something. I got to get a book and so with the Equal Business Opportunity Division, you can reach us at jacksonville.gov /JSEP.
Let's put that in the chat.
Yeah, so that is jacksonville.gov /JSEP. And
JSEB, just so she is, that's Jacksonville Small Emerging Businesses, so JSEB.
yes,
So jacksonville.com,
yes,
jacksonville.gov
/JSEP.
/JSEB.
And also, and my assistant probably going to get me later, but you can also call us direct at 904-255-8620. We are one of those agencies with the government that we want you to call. We want you to come by. It's open door because it is our goal to serve you.
Miss Smith gonna have a fit, boy. She gonna be upset with you. I ain't telling him to do that too, boy. Just don't be mad at me.
I know not the man.
Again, thank you as well, for taking the time out. Mike, you want to close us out, man?
I can. Today has been phenomenal.
Yeah, it's been awesome.
Thank you guys for coming, sharing this platform with us. You're so full of knowledge, wisdom, understanding. But not only that, your willingness to get out there and be seen in the community. I talked a little bit about Nate. Just this last week, Weston and I had a chance to go over to City Hall. We were invited by Mr. Grant. And just to hear the people to step up to the microphone on that platform to show their sincere gratitude and appreciation for what he's doing.
Yeah.
Hear me and hear me well.
Yeah.
A lot of times we say that the city is not doing nothing for us. They're not doing nothing for my community. And that's not true. The resources is there. You just have to connect with your doulas.
Oh,
There you go.
That's good. I'm gonna steal that doulas. Lit at lunch. Don't forget, if y'all got any, we're gonna use Zaxby's. Don't worry about it. I'm gonna get y'all to get me a Chick-fil-A sponsorship. Don't worry about it. I'm gonna go to Zaxby's since y'all ain't get me no Chick-fil-A sponsorship up until this point. So when you see me on here eating Zaxby's, know that we got our sponsor. So I'm searching for a Zaxby's sponsor. Mr. Aaron, if you watching this show, Mike said you were sponsored. God bless y'all. We'll catch y'all next time. Lit at lunch.
Lit at lunch.
Peace.